Today, we're going to be looking at a makeup artist website that I recently critiqued for a subscriber of mine. And so, we're going to talk about all the things that I think that she's done really super well on her website and the things that I would change to make it more effective. So, this is really a good example of somebody who has all the right content and information and it's really well organized, but some of the design is lacking. And I think that for her particular business, being such a creative artistic business, you need to have the design that reflects your artistic abilities too. So we'll talk more about that. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Emily. I am a website strategist and designer over at By Emily Jane. And the way that I do these website review videos is really looking at it from a business strategy perspective as a whole. So we take all the different elements into account, especially how people are going to realistically use the website, and just basically giving it a third person's perspective and giving as many tips as I can in roughly 10 minutes. So if you'd like one of those website reviews, feel free to leave a comment below if you're okay with being on the YouTube channel. And yeah, let's just jump in and hope you get some good tips. So I'll just go through page by page. So this is your home page, which is also your main portfolio page. The first thing I noticed that I felt like was missing is when I go to the first spot on your website, I want to know where you're located because that tells me as the potential client if I'm in the right place or not, if this is even a company that I should be looking at working with. So I know that you do like a variety of locations and you even do some travel, but just saying like a Miami based makeup artist, or wherever you're based is going to help a lot of people just like, okay, like I'm in the right vicinity. And then you can also say something about, you know, on location available as well, or willing to travel, or whatever, or Miami and beyond, or something like that. Um, but it still helps a lot to just kind of narrow that down for people a little bit. And then with the slideshow of images, I do think your work is awesome. These are all great photos, but I didn't notice for like I stared at this for a while and it took me a while to notice the arrows here that I could actually flip through. So I would recommend, instead of a slideshow, I would do like a uh, list of photos, because like like a traditional gallery style, because not a lot of people are going to be willing to sit in one spot like I am right now, for more than like 5 seconds. They're going to start immediately browsing through. So if you want people to see the range of your work, you kind of got to show it to them up front. So just something to think about. And then the last thing is, I noticed on your about page, um, you have this really impressive list of accomplishments and big brands that you've worked with, places that you've been featured. You've even done award shows, TV. This is all like, to me, this is like where it really shows that you're not just another makeup artist, um, out of the like millions out there, right? Like you have that experience, you have those credentials. So I say don't hide this just on the about page. Like it's totally fine to have like the full extent here since you're using this as kind of like your resume page. But on the home page, um, I would expand this so it's not just photos. I would definitely put, like I said, your location and some of those credentials, like maybe just like 8 or less of the absolute top highlights of your achievements, and mention those here. Featured in XYZ or worked with XYZ, and maybe you can put some of those logos. And that's just going to really impress people right off the bat and make you look super official instead of somebody who just knows how to do makeup, but you've actually like worked in the business and all that. So moving on to the services page, I really liked how you separated this into 3 distinct categories. That made it really easy for me to navigate. And the one thing I will say is that you also have this info page here. So to me as the viewer, I would think that all the info would be under the services page because that's pretty standard practice. And I know why you named this the info page, but I'm typically not a fan of just having a generic info page because it's a little bit the title of it is a bit vague, and so people aren't going to know exactly what they're getting out of it, and a lot of people will just skim right past it and they won't click on it. So if this is information that you need people to see, then I would try to lump it into your services pages if at all possible. And then I would hide this page from your main navigation because anytime we can reduce the amount of links in this main menu, it just reduces confusion. People get decision fatigue really easily. They want to move really, really quick on websites and they want to know exactly what they're clicking on and what they're going to get out of it when they click on that. So I think if you want to hide this page and just send it directly to people who are inquiring with you and they're like, hey, I need more info, you can just send them this link, but it doesn't need to be in the main menu. But maybe you could incorporate this elsewhere if it's not already on the FAQ page or already on the services pages. So going back to your makeup services, I think on your bridal page, you had a really good mix of photos and words, but then on the other two services pages, it's really just too much words and not enough photos. And the reason I say that is because although this is really, really well organized information, like you have headings, you have separation, everything is grouped exactly as it needs to be. There's like, the paragraphs are pretty small, all of that's good. But even still, if it's just a long page full of text, their eyes are going to get tired. So it's really good to break it up with a lot of those awesome images that you have available to use. So, you could do one every few sections. You could do like a row of 3 images, or you could do one image in between every type of service. But that's totally up to you. Just think about how can you make this a little bit more visually interesting so that people stay engaged with it. Also, while we're here, took me a while to notice that a lot of these headings or just little pieces of text are actually links. So there's actually no way for people to know, hey, this is something that I can click on because it's either black or gray, just like everything else. So I really like this pop of pink. I noticed you had that on your social links down here. You had it on your booking page, which is like everything about this is great. But yeah, I noticed when I was on this page how well organized your booking system was, but also how you had this really cute pop of pink. So I think if that's a theme that you're running with, why not make it more obvious by just flipping the color of the links so it's pink until you hover over it instead of the other way around. That way it actually catches my eye and makes me want to click on it, and it gives you just another little touch of design that makes your website just that much more interesting. So on the testimonials page, again, this is great. If anyone wants to see reviews for you, they have tons to look at here. However, since you are linking to all these different places where people can just go and read all the reviews if they want to, I don't think that you need this page on your website to be doing that to this extent, because this is a very long list of testimonials, and it's going to be, honestly, probably no one will read all of these, but even just a very small percentage will read these big paragraphs of testimonials, and then they'll probably get here and then they'll stop. So all that to say, this format isn't really doing you any favors. So there's a few ways that you could rework this page. One, again, don't hide all the testimonials. Don't hide all of this awesome social proof that you have on the testimonials page, because so many people are never going to click on this page. They're just going to look for the services, portfolio, and then they're going to take some sort of action a lot of the time. So what I would do is take 5 or so of your absolute best quotes from within these testimonials. It doesn't have to be the whole quote, just a piece of it that sounds really great, and put that on other pages. Like put one on your homepage, put one on your services page for sure. But wherever you can find a little spot to stick it in, that's just going to make sure that even if people aren't necessarily looking to read your reviews, they're still going to stumble across them, and then they're going to see how great it is to work with you, and that other people have already like done the proof. Also, so if you are going to keep this layout, I would reduce it to where you have like no more than 15 reviews listed here. Because again, if they want to see more, they can click on these links. But once you narrow it down to like 15 of your absolute best, edit it again so that you have like maybe like a highlight, like a headline that you pull out from each quote, or just make each quote much shorter and just put the meat of the quote there, just the parts that are going to make you that will have the most impact. So it doesn't need to be this whole quote, because again, people's eyes get tired, and that instead of like seeing this and seeing how awesome you are, they're going to look at this and think that's too much work, I'm not even going to bother. So yeah, that's some ways that you can kind of rework that. Let's see. One last thing on your contact page, I really liked how you had your FAQs linked and all of your important contact information. But if you are going to have your phone number here, if you're okay with people just randomly calling you up, then make this phone number clickable. So that way, when people are on their phone, which about half of people who are browsing websites nowadays are typically using their phone at any given time. So having a clickable phone number is going to be really convenient for them. If you don't want people to just call you up randomly, then just take the phone number off. So just one last thing to think about there. So yeah, overall, I think that your website is great, really well organized, and there's just those few things. If you want to rework them, I think it might even be more successful for you. So I hope that's helpful.